Hi, I'm Daniel. This is Jeff with OEM Parts. We're down here in Joshua, Texas. Jeff has been gracious enough to open up his facility to us and show us his shop. So, Jeff, what do we have here?
This is our test stand. Right now we have a hydraulic pump up there that we're testing that we just rebuilt. This transmission right here was also just tested on the same stand. This is how we make sure that the product is correct before your customer puts it on his machine. So this right here is our hydraulic pump rebuild area. This is part of our transmission rebuild area here.
So let's talk about transmissions for a second. So Jeff was just telling me the amount of work his team takes and the pride they take in rebuilding a transmission. So a lot of times when people rebuild, or they'll say they're rebuilding a transmission, they'll say we're reconditioning, overhauling a transmission, and that could mean a number of things. But one thing I've been super impressed with Jeff is that these guys actually, when they rebuild a transmission, maybe you can kind of walk us through that a little bit, Jeff.
Yes, sir. This is a disassembled transmission right here on this table. So what we do is we completely clean the component first. Then we completely disassemble the component. Then we clean all of the internal pieces of the component. Then we inspect it. Then we rebuild it properly with all bearings, seals, whatever it needs. It's done according to the book. We put approximately 40 hours of labor into each one of these transmissions. We're not playing. We're taking this very seriously. So our transmissions are right when they leave here. And then we put them on the test stand so we know they're right before they leave here. We make mistakes, but we catch them on that. Because if your vendor isn't testing their components, they're using your tractor as a test stand.
Here we have Curtis. He's putting together a John Deere 330 CLC final drive. He just dropped this planetary housing down into this gearbox, and we're confident it's going to be great once it's done. This is the everything station. Everything good happens right here with Curtis.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Curtis.
Yeah, this shop is truly an amazing shop. Jeff's team, these mechanics are dedicated. They're out here rebuilding parts, and they're doing it the right way. And I think Jeff and I have talked a lot about this these past couple days. It really shows in the products that we get. We have a lot of suppliers, a lot of rebuilders that, they rebuild something for us and you don't know what's going to happen next. They may have a warranty behind it, but it's really refreshing to come in here and see this team. They don't just do things the right way. They really, from what I'm seeing, they're really exceeding even the John Deere OEM expectation. They're testing stuff, in some cases, double the standard, the PSI that John Deere would require. Yeah. It's very impressive, Jeff. You put together a really awesome team, and you guys have a really great culture here.
Thanks, Daniel.
Would you mind introducing this next section for us?
Sure. So this is our primary transmission department. This is where most of them get built. These guys spend an average of 40 hours per transmission. So that's one mechanic a week, one transmission per week. Is what they typically turn out, because they fully rebuild these, and then we test them, and then we paint them, and then we palletize them, and by the time the customer gets the product, it's right. Yep. This is our paint booth, OSHA certified, legal paint booth.
OSHA certified.
That's right. No rattle cans here. We actually use a real paint booth to paint the product. This is our hydraulic cylinder department. This is where this machine right here takes the cylinders apart, detorques the nuts, retorques the nuts. We can put the cylinder back together. This table over here is our cylinder test stand, where we make sure they're not leaking and that they're functioning properly.
You know what's super cool you told me earlier about this machine is it's a 20,000
PSI.
Could you kind of explain what that capacity is?
Yes. So this machine will torque and detorque the nuts this nut on the end of the rod up to 20,000 foot-pounds. And what that does, it's enough torque that the piston is actually, the threads on the piston actually seal the end of the rod. It's so tight. And so this is the machine where we take them apart, we detorque them, then after we reseal them, we retorque them to factory specs, and then we reassemble them on this machine. And then this machine over here is where we test them and make sure that they don't leak.
So here on the left we have, what is this, Jeff?
This is raw material for manufacturing or remanufacturing hydraulic cylinders. This is chrome stock, all the different sizes of chrome stock, and then behind there is the tubing for rebarreling the barrels.
Yep. Yeah, so when we sell a rebuilt cylinder, we're going to make sure that cylinder is back to OEM spec, whether that's building a new one, whether it's rebuilding it.
Yes, that's correct. And we also always build these cylinders and everything else we build here to factory dimensions. So that if you ever have to replace a seal or a bearing or a snap ring or anything, you don't have to remember where it came from. You can go to your dealership and buy the right part and it will fit just like the original. This is our CNC machine shop here. That's our happy, mad scientist right there. That's Glenn.
There he is. He's the in-house genius here.
He is the in-house genius. Yes.
Maybe the final section of the shop here. And is this the axle? This is where the axles are built.
This is the axle department. We do have a department for just building axles. This is it. I'll just show it to you.
Check out all these housings right here. Would that be the appropriate terminology there?
Yes. Yes. Those are axle housings. We call them corners once they have the axle and the planetary on them. This is one of our rebuild areas here. That's Bo. He runs this department. And then the rest of this is also Bo's world back here. These guys are extremely hard workers and nice guys too. We've also got, let's show you, come over here. This is our test stand. This is, to my knowledge, we're the only company that actually tests their John Deere axles this thoroughly. They're very thoroughly checked here. We know they're going to work properly. The brakes are going to work right. The diff lock's going to work. They're not going to leak. They're not going to overheat. All that is checked here, so we know they're right before they leave here. So that AMS can have a quality product to sell. And if you need one of these, call these guys.
Yeah, it's such a great partnership. So for us, you know, we want to ship out a really good product that we're confident in. I've been doing this for 15 years. I can't really think of a lot of situations that we've had where one of your axles have come back, where there's been an issue with quality, workmanship. We know in the heavy equipment industry things happen, right? I mean, we're in a very, very harsh environments. You know, stuff happens, stuff comes back. But with you guys, the amount of workmanship and testing that you guys put into your products makes us confident to be able to sell it and move that product.
And we appreciate the partnership. We really do.
We do as well.
And our warranties are less than 1% of sales.
Yep, and that's really our goal. We really want to be selling product that's below a 1%, maybe 2% depending on what it is. But we don't want to see a product again come back. And I know with our customers, with their downtime, with the mechanics, with having to, you know, they're on very important jobs and they don't have time to be putting parts back on and, you know, take them off, put them back on again, and the amount of labor that takes. We want to ship the right part, right price, right now. We want to do it one time.